I'm Major 7 with the New Old Heads, and this is episode 495. On this episode, we talked about IShowSpeed performing at the World Cup
closing ceremony,
hip-hop sampling and its appeal, and has it changed over time, and Post Malone potentially making a fusion rap hip-hop comeback. Support the show and get our uncut 2-hour episode without ads by becoming a $5 Patreon or YouTube member. Please make sure to click the bell and turn on all notifications, and we'll see you in the comments. Peace. You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. We got the family in the building. I mean, a lot of family in the building tonight. Starting off with my man, Jay Moore. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing well, just surviving the heat and trying to get to a little money for the summertime. It is what it is.
Okay. My man, brother to the night is in the building. How are you, good buddy?
Blessed and highly favored.
Look at Thank you for that. Appreciate that, bro.
All right.
My man, DJ J Dib. What's happening, man?
Salutations. I am well.
Good to hear that. My
Thank you.
Longevity's in the pilot seat. How are you, buddy?
Howdy. Doing all right.
Yeah?
Yep.
Thanks for not having an extended laugh.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you.
That was a whole laugh track.
I swear, man, we need to clip that.
What if it was like a Egon from Ghostbusters? Ha.
Yeah, don't forget that. The champ is in the building. Gobo's here. Good to see you.
Yep.
Red August is in the building.
No doubt.
Looking frustrated. Usually he get frustrated when he get around me for some reason. I'd have known him since forever, but
I mean, what happened right before the show came on?
He got frustrated. Yeah.
But why would he have
had
gotten?
nothing to do with me.
Well, and you're an antagonist.
Am I? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Is that what it is?
Antagonizer.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
You tried to get me when I came in, but
No, I just I showed you love. I said, it's good to see you, good brother.
It's always good to see you, brother.
What I tell you this morning, come as you are.
Yeah.
As you were.
As I want you to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's a nice time to see you.
Come on, man.
Because I ain't seen you in the month of Sundays now.
I got hype when I text you. I said, brother, come on. The doors is open. I will be there.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
I guess I didn't even put two and two together that you literally for the last 3 months have filled in for him.
Yeah. So now doing this is like, it's about time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got hype when I knew you was going to be here. So it's good to see you, brother. As always, before we get it cracking, I will open the floor up to anything that you gentlemen saw since the last time we met. Anything crazy?
I'll say one thing real quick.
Yes, sir.
Because we just kind of confirmed the date today.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching, save the date. Otherwise, we'll do other announcements. But we do have our 500th episode planned to be in a live setting at the 808, which is at Indie City and Vinyl's new spot. Happens to fall right on the Tuesday, the 25th of August. So we're going to have pre-sale tickets for that soon. But put that on your calendar. Come to Indianapolis, book your hotel rooms.
There you go, Long. Talk to him, Long.
Stay a little bit longer.
Get yourself an Airbnb. Make it, start off your Treese full week.
Exactly. It's the beginning to the Treese weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Jay-Z will be here too.
Oh, will he?
No, I'm just talking.
Maybe he will. We don't know.
That'll get him to sign up.
Yeah. So, but August 25th will be our 500th episode, which is crazy. So we've been working out the logistics, and so we're gonna have a treat for everybody.
It
So
should be a good time for sure.
Before we go any further, I have to say rest in peace to Hal Williams.
Yes.
Many of you know him as Lester from 227, but also if you remember, he was like the black cop and a black and white cop duo on Sanford and Son. I always thought that was particularly funny, especially now. But man, he was like 91.
91, yeah.
So lived a very full life, and we can all just hope to get to 91, still have all our faculties, and he was still showing up as Smitty to certain places. So shout out to Hal Williams. I know I've talked crazy about 227 and how Lester was living foul, but that was Lester the character.
So disrespectful.
That did not have anything to do with Hal Williams, who was in a lot of different things. You look at his IMDb, it's kind of crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
But so rest in peace to him. Shout out to everybody from 227 and his friends and family, man. We 91.
That's a full life right there, though.
Definitely full life.
That's a full life.
Can't
right
be
there.
mad at that.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. Content creator IShowSpeed just made history by becoming the first streamer to perform at a FIFA World Cup final ceremony. Now, his performance raises a bigger question about why rap seems to be the only genre where influencers, athletes, and internet personalities can realistically cross over to music and be embraced on major stages. Let's watch a video of his performance. I got a couple questions.
My left, I step with my right, I pump my chest, I focus my mind, I take a breath and wait for the ref.
All right.
Yeah.
He's obviously lip syncing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just on the mic.
Yeah, but
it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So the question I would pose is, does IShowSpeed performing at the FIFA World Cup final show that internet influence is now just as valuable as traditional musical credibility?
Yeah, I would say so with him. It's actually on brand.
Okay.
For him because he is a big soccer fan. I don't know if y'all seen when he met Messi and
he crashed out when he met him.
He lost it. So this is on brand for IShowSpeed, and we know that he streams not only in America, he visits other continents and countries and does the exact same thing. So as far as being the most recognizable streamer, makes 100% what I'm trying to say, 100%
sense.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pick up what I'm putting down.
There you go.
100% sense that he's the one that they would pick as far as a streamer is concerned. But this is honestly the first time that they ever had performers at the FIFA World Cup
at the halftime show. They didn't have a halftime show before.
Capitalism.
They've never had a halftime show. So this kind of is on point with what we're experiencing as a whole overall, as far as music, influencers and things of that nature. So I think it's on brand.
So you're saying one, it's on brand with him, obviously with his love for soccer. Makes sense money wise and, promotion wise. But as it relates to the musical piece, are you saying that it's getting close to where it can be potentially neck and neck as it relates to artists versus influencers?
I didn't know he actually did music.
I didn't. I don't think he does though.
He doesn't.
So he just did it specifically for this.
Manufactured.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the part I'm talking about outside of what you said, which was dope. But we're looking at it now. Like, are we getting level? Is this a thing that can potentially return later where it's like, we need to get these influencers, forget the artists?
Man, it happens in every sector.
Just hosted the BET Hip Hop Awards.
Well, I think performing is different than hosting an event. This is like, I got a record, I'm performing. Am I wrong when I say that?
No, but this was, you've already seen this. It's just they put a male's face on it. You know
so
what I mean?
give me
Cardi B is the exact same thing. Cardi B was a personality doing music, and then they gave her a record. It went off.
She wasn't a streamer though.
She wasn't a streamer, but it's you a personality. Your personality is what, and then we put music on top of the personality, and that's what's selling.
What is he known for?
Streaming. Okay.
I ain't know nothing about no music or any potential music. I ain't know nothing about that. I know he's a crazy streamer. That's what I knew.
But even Cardi B was on like Love and Hip Hop, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So even though there was
the reality show component,
there was still a musical.
It was still based around her going to be the studio and trying to.
That would be my only pushback, is what Lone said as it relates to the comparison. But I see where you're going, B.
Yeah, I think in the world that we're at, I think I actually have to agree. I don't want to agree.
Yeah.
But I think that I do agree that the way that most people see that everything's just entertainment to everybody, and I hate it. As long as you can get out here and you can put on a good, then I feel like most people are in general just gonna be like, there's nothing wrong with this.
John Travolta made records, man.
He did.
And also too, when we talk about hosting, when certain artists host things, this has been going on forever. They might get up there and sing a song. They ain't about to put out an album. They're just doing it as the entertainment for what's going on right now.
That's fair.
So I'm not trying to say that just because he got up there and did a rap poppy song that it doesn't make sense just because he's a streamer.
I mean, I'm not checking for him to do anything else musically, but we also just have to think about how different it is in the way that younger people consume entertainment. For people our age, an entertainer or a celebrity, if you will, was somebody who's in a movie, on TV, in a sitcom or a drama, or somebody who could sing,
has some serious
or
talent,
rap. Now, like, there are people who are just as famous because they're just as famous as Robert De Niro to another age group and demographic, and all they've ever done is build really cool stuff in Minecraft on YouTube.
Yeah, I hate it.
So
that's a whole nother conversation, but I hate it.
Yeah, and I understand because it's hard to look. I just remember when I saw my little cousins watching YouTube, and this has to be going 10 years ago now, and I was like, they were entertained by that the same way me and the cousins my age were entertained by watching, Michigan, Ohio State. It was really to them, it's just as entertaining, and like to them, it's almost silly that we'd watch people playing
for real,
college sports.
And I think I need to clarify too. When I say that I hate it, I don't hate the fact that people are playing video games and they have an audience. I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's normal. I think that is like sports. I hate the other piece when it takes away from. I hate the fact that anybody can just be an artist, quote unquote. I just hate that.
That's
I hate
the part.
and can take up space for people that actually care about the thing that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's on such a grand scale. I hate that is what I hate.
Like what was the kid's name? I assume he still streams. Like I said, not my demographic, from his basement. And he has
academics.
No, that's certainly not.
Cornball.
Kaisenet.
Yeah.
Streamer University.
Yeah, and I remember when people were quote unquote disappointed in him because like he took his platform to the BET Awards a couple years ago, but he didn't have the ability to actually interview people, and he didn't know who people were, and it was just like
the Wale incident.
We just think that those just because you're a streamer means you can do what someone from Entertainment Tonight can do. Like we just automatically create an expectation of people that is really kind of unfair.
Yeah, but it also too, the whole capitalistic money grab point. Him being a part of FIFA, although there's a big audience there, I guarantee it brought other eyes on that game just 100%. Because he was performing at halftime.
100%.
Did Drake perform?
No, so
he was supposed to though, right?
Nah, they were saying they were trying to get Kanye, and Kanye said he wasn't messing with it because he wasn't standing on the same stage as the acts that were there. Pretty much saying I'm better than them.
I mean, he's not really wrong if that's one of the acts that they have.
IShowSpeed is being featured, yes.
But I bet you he would be on IShowSpeed show.
100%, because he ain't stupid.
But that's a different conversation we'll stick with. But
yeah. So I got a follow-up question based on what we just talked about. Why do we think hip hop is the only major genre where people from outside of the music can dabble in it and still get opportunities at the highest level?
Easiest.
It's the easiest
to barrier for entry.
Easiest barrier. Okay.
Which honestly, I don't even actually agree with that. I don't think that it necessarily is. I think probably fake DJing would be up there higher.
Man.
Top 3.
I've seen
top 2,
Olympic
top 3
situations. I was like, none of that is plugged in.
Yeah.
And like the guys just up there like
twisting knobs and shit.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Long. Like, do you got anything on that in terms of other than what you said, or?
No, I mean, I think the barrier for entry is low.
Okay.
Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. There's gifts and curses with it, but when there's no checks and balances for people at these organizations like FIFA or whatever to be like, well, maybe we should have some artist be a part of this, and an art, because that's their profession,
right?
And I think it goes down to the fact that most people don't view art as valuable. We don't value art.
But
we don't value it. We value anybody that we think that anything is art and can just jump into that space.
Based off entertainment, entertainment value?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I will say that there was some art involved in that though, because I'm pretty sure somebody wrote that song for him.
Sure.
It was some
choreography was
choreographers that showed him how to do all that stuff. You know what I mean? So there was something in there, but it was just something that was packaged.
To me, it was just a capitalistic money grab is all it was, because whoever wrote that song wrote it for the halftime show. Whoever did that thing wrote that specifically, that dance to be at that particular type thing. There's nothing wrong with that.
No real love.
But it does undercut artists.
Definitely.
IShowSpeed is not an artist.
Yeah, it's easier. It's easier in a sense that I can write this rhyme for you and we can practice your delivery of it without having to get a singer or something to sing, because that's a little more you got to bring out of somebody.
You got to have more talent.
So like I can coach you how to rap this rap. Like I mean, we even see that inside of the rap game. Eazy didn't know how to rap.
True.
They coached him how to rap, wrote his raps for him, and obviously it goes on. You know what I'm saying, other places as well.
You can punch in. You know, now everybody punches. Nobody does full 16s or anything anymore. Everybody punches. But even with this, IShowSpeed was not performing live.
That's what I was going to add too. It was a backtrack, so he was lip syncing after they've already doctored it and make it sound like how it's supposed to sound or whatnot. But as far as hip hop being used, I think that's the major reason why. And I wouldn't even necessarily just say hip hop. You can just say rap. They use rap because it's easier for them to coach. There's not a whole lot of rapping skill or hip hop skill going into them making a rap to perform at FIFA or wherever they're going to perform.
So let me ask you this. Are you saying that it doesn't require much talent to rap?
No, I'm saying it's easier for them to coach how to deliver that song.
Okay.
Versus me, I have to find somebody that can sing and then I want you to sing it this way. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I see it.
Look,
a cadence is easier to teach than someone that has vocally trained.
And let's be real. The bar for how good you have to be as a rapper right now
is so low.
It's extremely. It's like you don't have to be good at all.
Yeah, it's not like they were trying. You know, someone said, "Okay, now IShowSpeed or whatever his real name is." I feel weird just calling him IShowSpeed, but that's
his name.
That's the old person in me. It's not because they couldn't say, okay, say we're putting this together in the 2 months leading up to FIFA. We're gonna need you to do a saxophone solo. Like he can't pull that off. Like there's no way you could convincingly have him come out there or play a guitar. Whatever, you know, the talent that would translate or you could even fake for that 45 seconds is not something you could teach him in 2 or 3 months.
Not even the breath control.
You go.
As a for real rapper, you know.
No, you couldn't. So but you could pull it off in a kind of a sham of a way. You know, like I said, it's what I said a couple weeks ago about how you got to be good. You just got to be good enough.
Good enough to make the money.
Yeah.
Which you can put anybody in that. I mean, it's been Milli Vanilli exists. You know, all the way back to what's that house record?
CNC Music Factory and them.
Yeah, but walk right in.
I don't know that one.
I need a little bit more from you on that. I need a little bit more on that one.
Lolita Holloway, I think is her name.
Oh.
Lolita Holloway, I believe, which her voice was resampled multiple times and used. It was the same sample that was
Good Vibrations.
Good Vibrations was
spike
used.
Me, start me up or spike me up chick.
But she was
that was Martha Walsh.
A lot of early like house music sampled her vocals from that and was kind of repurposed. But there's literally like a video of Top of the Pops, you know, the UK thing where there's this skinny attractive black woman out there doing this, right? It's not her voice. It's not her voice at all.
And the people are like not feeling it. It's kind of an awkward video to watch.
So
that was it was Black Box. That's
Black Box.
Yes, it was supposed to be, but it
Black
was
Box. Yeah. Should global stages like this still be reserved primarily for established artists?
It depends on what you're looking for on said global stage.
No, I say absolutely.
I agree.
Period.
I'm speaking from
I don't care.
The global stage part, because there are some people that's going to be like, forget what we talking about. We trying to get to that paper just like FIFA did. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, you need to be a bona fide superstar to have that type of look.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm just saying that may be their
We know what they're.
That's all I'm saying.
We just
don't
talked
ignore
about it.
Yeah, don't ignore that part. That's all I'm saying.
What I will say is shout out to IShowSpeed because he did not embarrass himself.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I like IShowSpeed. I just
he-
feel like it was just one of those things where I just can't agree with him being in that space.
He's a good kid, though.
I can dig it.
This
Yeah,
is
I mean,
good.
even with the Super Bowl, leading up to the Super Bowl, it's like a big announcement. This is who's going to perform, and they go through a lot of, you know what I'm saying, months as far as leading up to that performance, and hopefully it's a good show. But like that kind of sticks to established recording artists that you know is going to put on a good show. But
True.
I mean, again, he wasn't the only act. I think he was like a 4 runner leading up to the actual acts. And I don't even know who all else performed there, to be
Shakira, the
honest with you.
Muppets.
The Muppets.
They were there.
Whoa.
All right.
Like the old guys?
Yeah, like I saw Animal on stage.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's
You
fine.
talking about the
Play
two
the
old
I know
drums.
what
guys.
you mean by the
No.
old guys. I know what he mean by the old
Statler and
guys.
Waldorf? No, I didn't see them.
my
Animal's an
favorite.
artist, man. He plays the drums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, you know,
He's very good at it.
the original Milli Vanilli.
Yeah.
Good
or-
call,
or
man.
whatever.
The old guys. I know exactly what you meant when you said that.
Yeah, man.
All right, man.
They
Yeah, but
really
that-
be up there hating.
The thing about the Muppets though is we know what it is.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is intentionally entertainment for entertainment's sake. You know, it's not any type of cleverness to try to
Fool anybody.
show somebody like, oh, this artist, IShowSpeed, he also he doesn't do this. Like,
Muppets actually do musicals.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and Shakira is an actual, artist. She's done the Super
she's
Bowl.
done Super Bowl. Yeah.
You
True.
know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Does a sample flip mean what it meant 20 years ago? Why and why not?
I think it does, just because I've heard people flip songs that are extremely popular or have been flipped I don't want to say 100 times, but have been flipped many times before. And the way someone might chop something up makes me feel a whole different emotion than what may be, one of the things that just comes to mind is
Is this an age group thing?
it could be, but on Busta Rhymes' ELE 2, he had the song where the producer, I need to look it up, flipped "I'll Be There."
Okay.
For the
Nuts.
song, for the song he did with Kendrick Lamar.
Nuts.
And I just, I listen to that, especially like, it does give you a certain, like, I was going through some things at that time, and that song really just touched my heart. So that might be why that sample flip feels some type of way. But also, let's just not act like how when Jay-Z did Hard Knock Life, flipping
Yes.
to Annie, how that just blew everybody's mind at the time. Whether you like the song or not, it was a cultural, touchstone. And the thing is, they tried to do it again not that long after with anything from Oliver, and it didn't work. So sometimes you can really catch lightning in a bottle.
I want us to stay more on the concept of does it really impact, because I'm going to ask later if there are any favorites that we have that stand out.
Well, the
follow
answer
me?
is yes. It still does have the impact.
What you think, B? Does it still matter?
It depends on how obscure the sample is, because like there's a lot of lazy sampling going on where people are sampling and sample, and that is cool, but it's not great. You know what I mean? But I do hear greatness from most of the greatness I hear as far as sample flipping comes from up and coming producers, like Yo God, man, Tall Black God, man.
Yeah.
I've heard several flips of Michael Jackson records since the movie came out, and people have really done justice to quite a few of those, man. Yeah, so if you don't have a big name, I think the flip is more important to you of a sample as opposed to somebody that already had. Like I'm sick and tired of hearing Heatmaker.
Yeah, that's all he does.
Hitmaker.
Hitmaker.
Hitmaker. I'm sorry. Young Berg, man.
Young Berg, yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing him just flip records. He is the Diddy of his day.
He ain't even Diddy because he don't put nothing on it. It's down to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, works.
What
I
you
guess.
think? What you think, Terry?
I think the flip will always have a place, meaning, and bearing in the music business as a whole, specifically hip hop, especially if it's done right. because to me, the best flips, in my personal opinions, are the ones you can't identify easily. And I think that the producers that know how to tap into that, even if it's something that you do recognize, there's an art to flipping it a certain way to make it sound brand new, obviously. And also to kind of trick the ear to not know exactly what it is. So I think it will always be meaningful to be able to flip a song or a sample, so to speak. I mean, you should have both, I think, as far as being able to produce something from scratch with no samples. But I don't think it's ever going to be a time, specifically in hip hop, where a sample song ain't a hit or can't hit if they know what they're doing and can get it across the way that, you know what I'm saying, it's supposed to be heard.
I think I lean more towards the side of, I guess with the mainstream records, they tend to be more of it's a longer section.
Loop.
More of a loop.
Yeah.
It's more, but those records tend to work based off nostalgia and all the rest of that. But the ones that are, and they have listed a couple in this on this thread here about, you know, some of the more obscure ones, but those are the ones that usually catch my attention a little bit more. Now, maybe that's just me and my age, or just being in tune to, like you talking about Terrell and stuff like that, the 14KT, these guys just do amazing flips. Right? Like Soundtrack from that works with Jamla. These are ridiculous flips that we can see. It
adds new life to some of these old songs.
Exactly. I think those are the ones that are, I think they're still impressive, but I don't know if it's really that impressive on the mainstream just because it's been done so much now. Like you said, you tired of Hitmaker.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Like it's what those are different. That's different. But I am impressed. I'm still impressed when I see one where I'm like, damn, I didn't think about that. Or he or she took it a different way that I never saw. So that still impresses me. But on the mainstream, I don't really think it matters at all. What you think, Lone?
I think it's always going to matter to a certain group and demographic.
That's fair.
And I think to people like us, we're always going to care. We're always going to, you know, try to be like, where's that from? You know, like I feel like that's just the inherent part of it.
Right.
But I also would say that I don't, and I'm going to take it away from the mainstream in general.
Okay.
Because who cares? I feel like the mainstream is just rinse and repeat. Hitmaker is the new Diddy. We've seen stuff throughout the, you know, whatever. We know that stuff, when you resample something that's popular, it's going to do well. We know that typically. It's hard for me to answer this because I'm so convoluted in it to where like I don't know how most people feel, but I get some young producers that come into my classes and that's all they want to do. And then I got a lot of others that aren't interested at all. And I think it's about the same as it's always been, if I'm gonna be honest. But if we're going to get a little bit more nuanced, I feel like when it comes to sampling, particularly records, as opposed like songs, as opposed to sampling sample packs, as opposed to sampling just something that somebody played, I feel like that has grown quite a bit. I feel like because everybody can produce, everybody can pick up a program. Not everybody's good, believe me. But
sure.
Anybody can like try it out and do it. We see a lot of people that their samples are, you know, the crutch is the sample a lot of times, right? And we've seen a growth of that.
No, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I've seen quite a lot more of that, you know, where the sample carries everything. But I think that's always been the case. So I don't know. This is an interest. I feel like I need to think about this a little bit more. I don't know if it means the same. You know, I know for me it doesn't.
Right.
I know, specifically it doesn't. I started as a producer. All I did was sample because I couldn't play everything that I wanted to be able to sample, but now I can. And so like, I sampled yesterday before class. This is the first time I've sampled all year. You know what I mean? Like I still do my sample projects where I'll take one artist and do the whole thing, but that's just because
fired.
Yeah, you know, it's like, all right, let me do all these Elton John records, you know, let me go back in that. But when I sit down and make something anymore, like I very rarely sample anything. So, you know, I feel I know that I'm biased in this, but when I look online, when I see people talk online, when I see the online circles and the Reddits and the Discords and things like that, people are still interested in samples. People are always going to be like, what's the sample? I want to try that out, you know? So I think it's still very rich. And I don't really think it's changed too much. I think its subtleties have.
That what's the sample question is,
I hate it.
Wild just to see people doing that now, man. Just like,
wait, doing what you say?
What's the sample?
What's the sample?
What's the sample?
What sample is that?
Oh, people
okay.
Yeah,
people in the comments.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing.
Talent.
Who sampled?
Yeah, I mean it's
the website. Yo, LL Cool J has a new sit down. I don't know if y'all seen that.
I saw
There's a DJ that'll play tracks and pretty much tell you how they came up with it, and by the end you're hearing what it is. I mean, that's kind of sample snitching at the end of the day.
I'm you know, and stuff like that. I think that's I'm 50-50 on this stuff.
On talking about the samples.
Yeah, I feel like showing all the sauce sometimes just takes the allure away sometimes. And I know like it's big business because people love to know where this stuff is coming from. People are really interested in it. But at the same time, I do feel like it kind of does take the magic away a little bit. You know, like I like listening. The stuff that stands out to me is number one, when I hear something, be like, I wish I did that first. And like, that's when I get impressed. And the other thing is I hear something that I know. Knots is, you guys mentioned Knots is really good at this. He'll take something that has been sampled before within hip hop and he'll flip it a different way. And he'll do it in such a way that is just like, it's just refreshing and dope. Like he did on Little Brothers, the Bobby Caldwell. He flipped the Bobby Caldwell on Such a Lonely Day. You know, like some people know how to do that in a particular type of way. And I can appreciate that. But I think it's also because that's what I do. So it's hard for me. Again, it's hard for me to have like a completely unbiased opinion on this because this is literally what I do.
And it's also, especially where we're from, everything wasn't available online. So for you to sample something, you had to find that sample, so you definitely wasn't telling nobody where you got that sample. So in today's day and age, the sampling aspect doesn't have as much flair because everything is readily available for you. But I still think that the sample game still has weight, especially for how your creative mind is able to come up with something different, essentially.
I think we always talk about evolution as it relates to music or sports or production. Since we're talking about production right now, and Lone made a very good point when he talked about the sample pool changing. We're old enough to go to the Goodwill and find wax, take it back, run it into your computer or whatever you have, and then try to figure out how to chop it up on SoundForge or something like that. Like we're that age.
They was putting it on an MP. They wasn't even putting it on a computer.
Man, it's like we used to have to try to funnel stuff in and try to figure it out from the Goodwill. Yeah. And if the record's been lumpy because it was out in the sun, then you can't sample it.
Yeah, the one thing
about that might become part of the sample.
But one thing about that era is even though there's a difference between put it into like a program like SoundForge or an MP, it's still the same process.
It still is.
It's just a different tool at that point. You know, now it's different because it's just like it's handed to you. It's like a search away and just like, oh, where is this?
Yeah.
70s funk.
I can Shazam and see if it picks it up. And,
and I'm not even really mad at it. From one perspective, I'm not mad at it. I just do feel like it just takes a little bit of the, I don't know, it makes it a little less special.
Yeah.
Well, what you said about Knots is the part, though. To me, that's the part, because as things evolve, it's like, okay, now it goes from the wax to the MP3s to the sample packs that probably were based off original records or whatever you want to call it.
Let's not even talk about sample packs where producers go in there and just rip off real songs and just act like it's their, like, here's this chop that I found. Like,
and especially the ones that are pre-chop, which is crazy. But I say that
I'm sorry. There was a sample pack that I was listening to, man. It sounded, they ran it through an AI engine. They had to, because it was You Can't Stop the Rain by Loose Ends, but they just had somebody just singing, like, they weren't singing the same words, but it was the same tone of the song. It felt the exact same way.
Lone and I've dealt with that. Yeah. But I think the thing that he said about with Knots is the part, for me, the challenge is to figure out how to make this my version. I look at it like, okay, this is the game now. This is where it is, but I can still make it my version. That's the challenge, to make it and turn it into something that has nothing to do with what was originally presented. So to me, that's still where I find the challenge. But Lone is right, man, because now it's like it's the wild, wild west on some of this, and as it relates to sampling and the packs and all that type of stuff. But I still can be impressed. I'm with Lone because when you've done it for a long period of time, it becomes harder and harder to get impressed.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by anything.
I'm with you on that 100%. And maybe I'm being a snob, but I'll be a snob with my brother because he's right. Like, it's been a while.
That's what we do. We're supposed to be snobs in this. You know what I mean? So I mean not snobs, but you know
I know
what I mean.
What you mean. Yeah,
like we know what we like. We've listened to this on such an intricate level, so where it's like, when I can do things with music.
Talk to him.
I'm just saying, like,
talk to him.
Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are now listening or watching the New Old Heads podcast. Our official 1-hour episode is released every Saturday at noon Eastern, where we share our exclusive uncut 2-hour episode to our YouTube members and Patreon members early every Wednesday. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Indie City and Vinyl, Decademics, and Bringing Down the Band. And most importantly, you. You can support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads, where we embrace the new, respect the old, and remain ahead.
So Post Malone is teasing a return to hip hop after spending the last few years focused on country music. Hear me out, brother B. Hear me out. Now, every time Post Malone shifts genres, it reignites the debate over whether hip hop is a place artists can freely leave and return to, or whether those moves actually carry any lasting cultural significance. I'm going to show you a video of the snippet, B. I got you. And then we're going to go into a couple questions.
Oh,
okay?
so you got some songs?
It's just a real quick snippet just to get your blood pressure up, and then we're going to go right to it, okay? I'm coming right to you as soon as we get done.
That's country music.
I'm coming right to you, brother, because I feel like you about to
that's country music. That is not hip hop.
But look, let me pose this question for you. Then I got you. All right. So does it actually matter culturally when artists like Post Malone leave hip hop for another genre and then come back, or has music become so genre fluid that these moves no longer mean anything beyond marketing?
That's what it is.
Is that what it is?
Because Post Malone he's put himself in one of those lanes where, you know, there are artists that you can't really say what they are.
Okay.
Like Anderson .Paak, to me, I can't call him an R&B artist. I can't call him a hip hop artist. I don't know what that man is. He just makes great music.
I think it is fusion rap.
Fusion rap?
It's like the modern day what people call hip hop. Like, I mean, it's not what we would call hip hop, but it is what everybody else would call hip hop, because it's got a beat and he's kind of sing rap into it, you know. Like,
I'm not mad at him though, because that doesn't sound like a hater when you say fusion rap. It just sounds like a subgenre or something where it's like it lays in between whatever. I'm not mad at
like
that title
rock
myself.
And roll and alternative.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
It's safe rap for people that ain't really hip hop fans.
I think this when Post Malone's fans are going to eat this up.
Yeah.
You know, is this something I'm going to rock with? Probably not.
I mean, this is what Post Malone does, and he's also coming off of a lackluster tour that has not been selling out, and some of those places have had to cancel the show because he's trying to tour these stadiums and things of that nature. And for a while, it was working. So now he's got to try to get back to what he was doing, what introduced himself to the people, essentially. And now he's pivoting back to hip hop. And it's just one of them things that, I mean, we see this all the time. We've had this conversation about him and Miley Cyrus, and, you know, other artists that do this hip hop or hopscotch back and forth into hip hop whenever they need to sell a record. This is par for the course, man. And again, he's making this music for people that identify with these raps and aren't hip hop fans. I guess we see that happen a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people that listen to rap only from certain people.
Those good old boys don't like that jungle music.
Listen, man. And that's just what it is. I mean,
he right.
At the end of the day, and then like you were saying, it's country music. If you listen to country music now, it has a hip hop vibe to it because they figured out that's what was going to sell those records.
808s.
Yeah. Kind of rappy, singy, honky tonk type shit.
I think it hit different back then. I don't think it hits the same now.
What do you mean by that?
I don't think people care like they did back then. I really don't.
Well, you got to think too that fans of this type of music are fans of that type of music. So it doesn't matter what that artist does. They like what that artist does. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be picked up because of what he's doing and all of that shit. It doesn't matter.
I just don't think the outrage is the same now as it was.
The outrage sits in this
10
room.
years, 15 years.
Exactly what Terry said. Who does the outrage come from? It doesn't come from Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
So
it comes from us sitting in this room because he is literally taking something, saying it sucks, and then coming back to it just to make more money off of it.
I guess what
we have a problem with that, but
I guess what I'm saying is
Sebastian doesn't.
Yeah, the people who like him in the rhinestone suits and all that, and drink Bud Light with him, they don't care nothing about this.
Nah. I guess what I'm saying is,
you don't think we care anymore?
No, it's not that we don't care anymore. What I'm saying is our reaction was different back then versus now. Now, me at my age, I'm like, all right, I guess that's just what it is.
Well,
I'm not picketing against him. I'm not for trying to save the culture. I ain't at that age anymore. It's like, all right, this is what it is now.
It's part of society.
That's what I'm saying.
We're desensitized to the bullshit.
Fair enough.
Essentially.
Fair enough.
And the disgruntledness lives in this room amongst other rooms that listen to what we deem as real hip hop and real rap music and aren't fair weather fans of, oh, this dude knows how to rap.
Yeah.
And he can do country. And I actually like this guy and I'm going to buy a ticket. We're not buying tickets to go see Post Malone.
Yeah, I was about to say, who was picketing Post Malone shows anyway? Nobody was.
I just honestly think, one of the things that pissed me off about Post Malone is not that he made the switch, because I'm like, it's messed up. I kind of expect that. That's par for the course as far as a lot of times how white people get involved in black art. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, let's go on this side of the money where the real money's at. That has been happening a lot. Has happened a lot. My issue was, and I don't know if you guys, I think everybody in this room remembers when he decided he could speak on hip hop and its cultural relevance.
That was it.
And what the songwriting really means. And it was like, you are not in a position, Post Malone,
that it didn't have any emotion.
Yeah, you're not in a position to make any sort of judgment or take a stance on what hip hop is or is not.
Right.
So that's part of the reason that I've never really heard him speak on those statements and whether he would try to clarify, but at the same time, I don't check for Post Malone in that way.
True. Because he's definitely gonna make a pop slap here too soon, I'm sure.
That's where the contentions come from. That's why we have the stance we do about it, is because of what Jay Moore just said. Most people don't care about that.
No, they don't care at all.
That is a pop slap, though.
Quite frankly, I'm not a Post Malone fan, never have been.
Right.
I can't say that he doesn't make good music. They know how to formulate some shit that works.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he's trying to get back to whatever that is, and I still will not be buying it. But I will probably be forced to hear it if I go shop at any of these stores.
Should hip hop be viewed as a culture that artists have to remain connected to, or is it simply another musical style that anyone can step into whenever it fits for their next project? And I think this question, what makes it different from other genres?
I think that, look, there have been, like DMC from Run DMC did when he did his solo record, he stepped out and did some records. I want to say with Sarah McLachlan, what I'm saying? Like he did he got a chance to do something that was not particular Run DMC-ish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Arms of an Angel?
Yeah.
Sarah McLachlan?
Yeah, I think so. I want to, yeah.
You mean like the animals are dying?
Yeah.
He's stupid.
Kids need a quarter to survive that day.
And so I don't want to immediately dismiss anybody that decides to try something new. I mean, you've seen.
He's talking about pioneers that try something new as well.
This is true.
See.
This is true. I mean, but honestly, when you talk about someone like Ice-T, he's been more body count than he has been hip hop. So he's been doing hardcore speed thrash metal, the past 25 years, as more than he has, been making hip hop records. And I don't. It's just always the thing of like when white artists. I remember there were people who didn't feel like when Everlast came back out. Remember when Whitey Ford sings the blues? Yeah. I remember when Everlast was doing records with Ice-T.
Yeah.
You know, and he was just a straight rhymer, you know, but I understand why maybe it's different when you're white. When you grow out of certain things, you express yourself differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, but at the same time, I can also look at Queen Latifah going from doing, you know, Wrath of My Madness to the Dana Owens album where she does the jazz standards.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, I'm not saying that people can't evolve and grow, but it's just also the optics of white people coming in, dipping their hands in, and they get to do the dances and wear the Jordans and the gold teeth. And then when they grow out of it, they can almost turn themselves into somebody else.
Yeah.
And then they can say, oh, that was just a phase, and never go back to it.
Yeah, that's the part I have a problem with, because, I mean, even hip-hop in itself, hip-hop isn't the one identifier of, like, just black culture in general.
No.
So, like, that's where I kind of want to draw the line, because every time we talk about hip-hop, it's almost like
black.
Definitely. But hip-hop actually is an embodiment of a lot of different genres as well. Now, when you talk about how certain people were raised and just to get into something because you thought it was cool or because the cool kids was doing it and then you dabble in it like that, that's kind of different. That goes to like what you were saying. You play with it for a while and now you're like Andy on Toy Story and you want to throw that shit away. You don't want to mess with it no more. There's a difference between living it, being a part of it, and just visiting it for, you know what I'm saying, right now, so you can look cool, essentially. That's the thing I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with people that try different forms of music, because you don't have to just listen to hip hop. I don't think anybody in this room only listens to hip hop.
Nope.
So you can't say that you are only influenced by that. But in the same token, you have to kind of be involved in it or kind of understand what we mean by you can't jump in and jump out being a certain type of way.
Let me ask you this. Let's dive deeper into this.
I want to answer the question real quick.
Don't forget
It's part of that, but go ahead.
I think the difference between the two is authenticity. Hip hop is supposed to be the one genre where you're expected to be living your raps. You know what I mean? Everything you rapping about, you're supposed to be living that life. And that's not the case with any of these other genres. You know what I mean? They have writers, et cetera, et cetera. Like hip hop, it's supposed to be authentic to your experience, and you are supposed to be selling that to your audience.
That's true, but I think the same is true with even vibey jazz artists. They live a certain lifestyle.
Ain't no words to that, though.
Rock and roll, they live a certain lifestyle. I think other genres have a lifestyle that they are kind of true to, but the thing about, when you talk about hip hop has become the identifier for some reason. And I always talk about how I hate that they always use hip hop as the identifier for anything black. It doesn't matter what it is. Oh, they're being hip hop. Essentially mean you're calling them black.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I don't like how hip hop has pretty much just been bastardized and commercialized so vastly. We embody more than just hip hop. As a culture is bigger than that. And like, again, hip hop is a mixing pot of a lot of different genres of music that created hip hop. I mean, it was created from jazz and rock and, you know what I'm saying, samples essentially. James Brown is a hip hop influencer essentially because he was rapping and shit and dancing.
Creator.
You know? Yeah, exactly. Cab Calloway. These are originators of, but they are from different genres. Hip hop is not just
boom bap,
or it's not just this particular type of black person. You know what I'm saying?
Struggle.
I feel like all music tells a story of somebody's background essentially, and hip hop is just not the identifier for only black. Well, it's from black, but it's not the identifier of a certain type of black experience. So
that's it. A certain type of black.
Correct.
Go ahead, Lone. What you were gonna say?
I don't remember exactly.
I'm sorry. I fucked that up.
You're good. No, you're good. I think it's more so. I want you guys to talk more about the reason why it's problematic, though, right? And more specifically, because you never see the issue when a black artist dabbles in rock and roll and then comes to hip hop and then goes back, or country and then goes back and forth. It's always specifically hip hop. And obviously I understand why, but I want you guys to speak further on this, on why specifically there's contentiousness around when artists do it specifically within hip hop. And it's somebody that's like white, let's be specific, or anybody who isn't, you know.
I want to go back to his example of Queen Latifah, because she was playing with other sounds in her records, like on Black Rain. Yeah. Coming to My House was on Black Rain. Record. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that was something completely different. I didn't with it. You know what I mean? I loved UNITOI. I loved Just Another Day.
She sang on those records.
I loved Just Another Day, but when I heard Come Into My House, it was a completely different sound that I was used to hearing from Queen Latifah.
Yeah, but people aren't contentious over the fact that she's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I start off by doing that, or Everlast starts off by doing that, and then he goes over and does this rock record over here, and then he comes back, where's that contentiousness come from?
Well, it comes from you can take it back to Pat Boone. All right, when he was jumping in and basically redoing Little Richard records, and then he gets to do his version of R&B records. He gets all the credit and makes the money, and then when we try to be like, well, what about this? What about the originators? It's like, whatever. There is a lot, you can, if you want to update the formula, it's like, wait a minute. You're looking at New Kids on the Block do basically what, updated the kit on New Edition. And we're like, well, come on. And it's not that they don't have the right to do it or they can't do it, but it's just like we've had to watch over decades to see white artists be able to involve themselves with what is traditionally thought of as black art, receive the credit, receive the money, and then once it's not as popular anymore, whatever genre that they were involving themselves in, they can always whiten up the formula and still go get the money, while what they were, I don't want, if what they were influenced by, I won't even say by stealing from, what they were influenced by is still stuck over here. And we still have to find a way to make our money by doing what they were influenced by, but now they're on the other side of town getting money because it's just not as popular right now.
So from this perspective, the people making this argument, which I would even consider myself, probably everybody at this table, the argument is always simultaneously that most genres are essentially founded and created by black artists.
Yeah.
Is that pretty safe to say for the most part? Country music, rock music.
Country music, rock, electronic, house music.
As we continue to go, right?
Yes.
So we have white people in general who can exist within this. If white people didn't originate anything music-wise, where is the place for white people in art?
I think the issue is when,
in relation to this conversation,
in this conversation, I think the issue is when they jump over into this lane, like they say they start out this one way, they jump into this lane, and then they condemn the very thing that they came from.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
But somebody like Everlast is not condemning it, right? He's just changing genres, but he still catches the flack for it, right?
I don't know if he really caught the flack for it. I don't, or maybe I just don't remember that time, because like I said, Whitey Ford Sings the Blues is a good 20 years old.
That title sounds
as a white person,
that sounds crazy. Yeah,
as a white person that has witnessed this, every single white person that I've ever seen that has crossed genres has caught flack from somebody.
So
in that particular type of way.
Right,
and I just want to pose the question.
Yeah, I know exactly. I think it's more so of the identifying factor. So like, it's one thing to, not to speak for you or white people in general, it's one thing to be a part of a musical upbringing or influenced by certain music, and it's another thing to not have any influence in this and only use it as a springboard, versus you actually love what you're doing. Because if you did, it wouldn't be an issue or a situation to where you would denounce it, so to speak, after you get a certain level of fame. It's I'm too good for that now. It's a difference when an artist embodies different genres, and they are looking for different sound. I mean, all great artists do that. We give Drake grief because he sounds weird doing these Afro beats and talking in different styles and things of that nature. But he's Drake. He's kind of corny when he does it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any problem with people doing the music. It's more so using it because it's going to just sell records.
I'll tell you who's somebody who does it. It's not a white artist. It's somebody that does it frequently, and they do a very good job at it, in my opinion. That's Snoop.
He does it.
Snoop dances all over the place, and he'll sing.
That's why he's the most recognized rap figure in the world.
Yeah.
Sure. But also Snoop doesn't, again, to the point, Snoop gets no criticism for that, right?
Yeah.
But Lone, I think my takeaway from this, Terry made a good point about certain types of black people, if you will, and people always associating things with hip hop, right? And I'm looking at it from a hip hop standpoint, where the culture has always been associated with, across the board, blacks,
sure,
Hispanics. Like, that's literally what it is. So as I look at other genres, I'm like, which genre is that heavy into it where it's 100% this race? Or you can't say that about jazz. You can't say that about, can you say it about rock? I don't know. Maybe that's subjective. It's all subjective, but hip hop is so associated with blackness and black culture. I think that's where, no matter who comes in and out, I think that's where it comes from. I don't know if there are other genres that are that heavy culturally or racially. I don't know if we can compare like that.
The thing about it is, hip hop, everybody's at this point has listened to hip hop, whether you're into it or not. And you can tell the nuances in the people that aren't really into the culture like that. It's just like you said, some people are putting on the act, or they're just using it as a way to be popular now. Those are the type of people I have a problem with. Like, even with what's his name, Jack Harlow's last album, I didn't have a problem with him doing that. He didn't have to do all the hats and shit like that. But I mean, I don't have a problem with people exploring their musical interests, because your musical interests essentially are a part of you. Right. You can tell when it's not genuine. It's like, I'm just doing this. I mean, when we're talking about Post Malone. Before Post Malone made White Iverson, he was on some ukulele type shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you went from doing that to, okay, I know this is going to sell records, so I'm gonna put on this Iverson jersey. I'm gonna get some braids to the back. I'm gonna put on the outfit. Those are the type of people I have a problem with. It's not. Excuse me. I don't find it. You know what I'm saying? Deem it bad for white artists to be influenced by black culture and black music, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's American culture. We all live on this same plane, and we all consume the same things. Some people grow up on this way and hear things this way, and you know what I'm saying? Well, it's a mixing pot, essentially.
I think it was something that you said that really kind of struck me, where you said some folks are just using hip hop as a springboard. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they get into the game. It's like they use hip hop as a little stimulus package, mm-hmm. and then they go into doing who they really are. Yeah, which is what I feel like where Post Malone is. Like you said, there's video. He's doing a little ukulele and the country infused whatever. But the first look I've heard of him was White Iverson, mm-hmm. which isn't anything close to really what he does now on a regular basis. And that's kind of what makes it feel weird, if you will. It's not that, maybe he really is exploring, his musical interest, but then it's just like, there was a lot of, Post Malone's a weird example because of a lot of the things he said after.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But the real question is, what if the ukulele shit and what he's doing now is who he was all along?
I feel like that's who he is. That's who he is.
It's just he signed his label deal, and that's the costume they put him in.
He could be manipulated in a way, just like a lot of folks are. I remember, You know, when the Beastie Boys, like there's this one picture of them after they came to Def Jam, and it's like they had on like just their Adidas suits, like they put on their rapper outfits, and basically Russell Simmons was like, "This is not who I signed. So go put on the shit that you had on before, because that's who you actually are. Like you trying to dress up like Run DMC is not going to get it."
I'm just circling back to the why, bro, and I just really believe that hip hop's culture is so pro. It's always been so pro-black that no matter who it is that jumps in and out, they're always going to get flack for making that decision because of how hip hop has always been perceived. I just don't think that's ever going to change. Well, I really don't. I don't think it's going to change. No matter if it's right or wrong, it's just always been looked at as this is black culture. And whoever comes in and comes out, we don't care what. Eminem is cold. He got flack. It doesn't matter who comes in and out because of how culturally how hip hop is looked at and how it's perceived. I think that's the reason. But I really think that's the reason.
See, all right, so you mentioned Eminem.
Right.
Everybody loved Eminem at one point in time.
Yeah.
But when the older I've become, the less those records stick to me. It's because
you've grown.
I've grown, and when I listen to those records, a lot of those records somewhat, it was like he was trying to sell me white struggle. You know what I mean? Like stuff that he was going through pretty much.
My argument is,
let him finish that. Because I kind of got a pushback on that. Because,
I do too.
Because, okay, they selling white struggle. Because, I mean, a lot of rap is black struggle.
I can relate.
You can relate specifically, right.
But so like, I'm just speaking to me.
Eminem could have been rapping about trap houses when he came out. There still was going to be flack because he's white. Coming into black culture.
I prefer Eminem rapping exactly how he raps.
I agree.
Because he's never switched up. That's the thing about M. M has never switched up to a point where you can point the finger at, aha, I got you. You came in and used this shit. His history
it wasn't a springboard for him.
His history is in hip hop, and he stayed true to hip hop. He was just a Jay-Z shit a couple weeks ago. So those type of artists, I don't have any problem with. It's the people that you know are putting on an outfit for the moment just to get the cash grab and then move on.
I think there's also a thing where we've hip hop has been so welcoming, and sometimes that welcoming where we're like, come on in, you can do this too. Like, let's go ahead and everybody can have a good time, and then we get burned by it. Like when like I said, when Post Malone feels like, I'm sorry, we're jumping on Post Malone, but it is what it is. You've made these statements.
No, that's all right.
You felt like you could speak on the culture in a way where you were not qualified to do so.
Because he didn't know enough about the culture to know that what he was saying was 100% bullshit.
But then when you talk about also getting burned, here comes Kid Rock going out to Oakland, making records with Too Short and Torn and trying to have a high top fade with the Aquanet or whatever he was using. And then we fast forward to him now, he's shooting Bud Lights in his backyard with Confederate flag on his back.
Jump in, Long.
One, black culture and hip hop culture are not the same thing, but hip hop culture is foundationally black.
Right.
And what has kind of come out in this conversation, and from my perspective, is essentially, nobody said it exactly, but because hip hop is foundationally black from that perspective, that when you are a white person in that space and you are not foundationally black, you are stepping into a space that you are not necessarily a part of, or a culture that is not necessarily yours, right? And so there's nothing necessarily wrong with, being a part of it, doing the things that you want to do, creating the music you want to make. You can make jazz music, you can make hip hop music, you can make whatever, you can make ukulele music, whatever the hell that is. You can do all these different things. You can do whatever you want to do, but it's also about how you move within it and how you speak on it, how much you respect the thing that you're a part of, which is interesting because the culture that we're in right now, 2026, I will stand by the fact that people do not care about art. And so, which is an interesting thing, not just white people, everybody.
Period.
And, there is an additional dynamic there to where, I don't think there's I think we would all agree there's nothing wrong with Post Malone coming in and doing stuff and then going doing other stuff. I don't care. It's whatever. It's kind of like, it's like your actions around it in that particular type of way. If I want to stop making hip hop music, if I want to stop, producing records, if I want to stop talking about hip hop tomorrow,
it's going to be looked at differently than if Terry says he's going to stop doing that tomorrow off top. And there's nothing you can and nothing you can really do about that. There's nothing that I can do about that. Doesn't mean that my contributions over the last 25 years or whatever or anything necessarily diminished, but I'm going to be looked at in a very particular way. That was a guest that came into it, and then I walked away from that guest. Whereas because it's foundationally black culture, Terry, it won't affect him in the same type of way as it would me. Let's say we're the same person. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think it's the why you walked away where that would be the issue more or less than like if you just came and said, you know what, I'm kind of over it. I think I've kind of outgrown it. Like I don't think nobody would look at you no type of way.
I think they would too.
Yeah.
I think they would too.
Because he said, I mean, that's the thing. When you think about hip hop, you think about it just being black. Like I can decide that certain hip hop music doesn't reflect my life right now, and I don't necessarily listen to. Let's say I decided that I was done with it, and I'm turning my life over to Christ, so to speak. You know, and no hip hop is involved with it, but I'm hip hop by association regardless. Like anything that would happen, even from the way I dress, won't change.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The way I talk won't necessarily change. It's just my musical soundtrack would change versus somebody.
Your choice of music.
Correct. Versus somebody that may have gotten in it specifically just for the soundtrack and didn't identify with it deeper than that, I guess. I don't know.
It's just the music level as opposed to a cultural level. They didn't dive into the cultural aspect of what hip hop is as opposed to just the surface level making rap music or whatever.
Yeah.
It would be different. Like if you stopped producing records and stopped, podcasting about hip hop and you said, or you know what, I'm going to start talking about the Lumineers, like not to pick on them, but and I'm going to start making music that is genre bending, but it's going to be like and whatever the Soggy Bottom Boys were doing, like and the updated kit for that, and that's what we're going to do going forward. Like it would feel like, well, what facilitated that, and you can say, oh, because that's the thing. A lot of people say, well, I kind of grew out of it, but when you're talking about something that is, when black people talk about it, it was like. It is something that is so attached to black culture. It's like, well, I don't get to just grow out of being black or the black experience. Like, and a lot of times that's what we feel like we hear from some of our white compatriots in hip hop is they say, I'm not only just growing out of this music and this culture, but I'm growing out of wanting to be connected to the black experience in the way that has paid me money.
Right. And then they say that hip hop is stupid or I don't know why, that type of situation.
Yeah, like if you could grow out of it and still dress like you do, you don't have to change.
It's still kind of embedded in you regardless.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
my thing
like
is,
if you say I outgrew it and then you stop wearing t-shirts and jeans and kicks regular, you start wearing Dockers and
that's what I do.
Polos and stuff on the regular, whatever.
I wear basketball shorts and wear the I want to
wear.
That's what I'm
saying. That's what I'm saying.
I used to care about wearing shoes and all that stuff. I don't give a he knows. I don't give a about fashion.
No,
but I'm just saying, like,
that's still hip hop though. That's just what I'm saying. That's still hip hop to the like, even what you got on right now.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? Like
whoever comes in is going to get what Lone is talking about. I don't care if the exit strategy and how you exit. Never going to be as impactful as when you initially came into the culture and how people looked at you. I don't care who it is. That's just what I believe. There's going to be flack. It's just based off history and what I've seen. There's going to be some form of flack whenever somebody crosses over into the genre. It's common sense to me. Like it's going to happen. Fair or foul, it's going to happen.
I think a lot of it is fair, but there's a lot of. I think there's a lot of. There's a lot of, I don't know if contentious is the right word necessarily, but I see it on a regular basis, even in comments last week. There's 100, 200 comments on one clip.
See?
Just because I said Jay-Z wants to be liked by the culture. What is wrong with that statement? Jay-Z does want to be liked by the culture.
But what were they saying?
They're
Shut your white ass up.
Yeah, see?
But they're reading more into that. Like, well, who are you to say what Jay-Z is supposed to be like that? I was like, what do you mean? Like, I was setting up the entire the narrative of where I was going with.
But all they saw was the white guys talking.
Sure. And I guess what I'm saying is that is a protective nature that comes out in this as well from people within the culture. And a lot of times even people, it even goes beyond just the culture of hip hop, because hip hop is, again, in my opinion, and I think you guys probably agree, I don't know who would disagree, it is foundationally black.
100%.
Yeah.
And so even if you aren't necessarily as ingrained into the culture as somebody like myself, you could still deem yourself as more versed to speak on things within the culture simply because you are
the fact that people can look up and do research and see who you are and how
don't expect people to do all that.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not saying I don't expect that. What I'm saying is the fact that
they all called y'all got called names too.
That's cool.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is the fact that they
Yeah.
can do that research.
That's not gonna happen.
And validate. I'm not saying they're doing that. What I'm saying is it's available. And for them to still jump out the window without doing that makes my point that it doesn't matter.
Right.
You're still going to be chastised regardless. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Fairly or fair or unfair. That's it.
It doesn't
like
really,
you get it a lot, bro. It's unfair, but
I mean, I have a whole thesis and a whole thing that I kind of want to do and I kind of don't at the same time.
Do it.
Based around black supremacy and hip hop.
You talking about viral, bro? Like,
I don't think I'm going to because I've formulated in my head in comparison to white supremacy in the United States and the world versus black supremacy within hip hop because I'm the minority.
Just have Jackson sit beside you and eat popcorn while you talk.
It will never. But the thing is, I guess, getting a little too sidetracked. It would never go over well. Number one,
no, I wouldn't.
Regardless of how well I did it. But the thing is like. I say all this to go back to the point about Post Malone and to highlight the point, not necessarily to black people who are watching, but more so the white people that are potentially watching that get hung up on this issue on a regular basis, that are fans of hip hop, that are fans of these artists that don't like to see this stuff happen. Look, I read all the comments and I was just like, all right, there was a time where that really would have pissed me off and really would have made me super upset, but it's just like, I get where it's coming from. I understand all these things, but there's still a lot of people that don't fully understand where that's coming from. And I think it's important to understand the different levels of, it's not the same as like, it's nuanced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The culture is a lot vaster and bigger now than even when I talk about hip hop and you saying hip hop and it meaning this one thing. The culture is so big right now that it is an American art form that more than one culture, so to speak, has, you know what I'm saying, contributed to and has lived and, you know what I'm saying, and continue to live versus I'm practicing being cool and that's the only reason that I'm using this and then I'm pivoting.
But do you even care about the practicing being cool part? Isn't it more just about, is it really about the coolness factor of it?
No. No, I mean, I don't care about it, so to speak, but it's like
it just comes across as like
it just
lame.
comes across as super lame. Like I even remember back in the day, MC Hammer is the one outliner that I can remember that more white folks start liking, and I knew what type of person this person was that like can't touch this.
This is more palatable
versus. You know what I'm saying? The Pantera and all the shit you wearing Pantera shirts and you love Can't Touch This. You just like the song. And you might go do the dance at a freaking talent show at school because you know girls are gonna like it. But that's the only reason that you fucked with that song. It wasn't a matter of you had an awakening and now you wanted to kinda, you know what I'm saying, learn a little bit more about black culture. It was only that song, essentially.
That's true.
Well, I think like even in school, I had a teacher, my ethnic studies teacher was a white man. And he was very versed in culture. I mean, even when you walked into his room, he had that iconic poster of the black man and black woman playing tug of war with the American flag.
Oh, okay.
He had a whole bunch of that type shit in his classroom. And I remember when I first walked in there and I'm like, why is this dude teaching ethnic studies?
Sure.
And then once I got to know, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense that he's teaching ethnic studies because he understands. He's not just doing this as I'm just here to get money. They told me I got to teach ethnic studies. You could tell he all this shit meant something to him, and he could back it up. And it's like, okay, he lives exactly what he's talking about. He's not faking the funk. So I understand as far as somebody being culturally involved and culturally adjacent just to be popular.
Well, I think what's really crazy is like there are people who are 15, 20, maybe 25 years younger than me, and they're like, what are you guys talking about? Like this isn't even an argument that registers with them, or a conversation that registers with them. They're just like, oh, I like Post Malone. Yeah, I like this. I liked that song when he was doing that. I liked that song when he was doing that. There are a couple of songs I didn't care for, and I moved on. I think, like I said, it comes from a place where you've seen this story so many times. That's where it resonates with me. Where I've seen not only in hip hop but just in R&B, within jazz, where all of a sudden, there are all these jazz artists doing something, but all of a sudden it's like, hey, check out Kenny G, and not to pick on him, but it's just like, okay, we have all this over here, and that's what you resonate with.
It's the society of America that seeps into it.
Yeah, but then there are people who are like, well, I like Kenny G. There's not a cultural maliciousness that comes from them liking this, because if you give it a lot, look, you even brought up Hammer. Look, for some people who are dyed-in-the-wool, super-duper hip-hop fans, Hammer was their introduction to the culture.
Yeah.
You can say the same thing. I'll say the same thing for Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice, somebody saw Vanilla Ice, and then they wanted the real thing, and they started doing the research and actually caring and being around,
But it took work. It was more than just you like that song for the moment to be cool.
Yeah.
And it's not just putting on the outfit for a certain amount of time for Halloween, dressing up for it, and then hanging it in the closet the next day. There's a difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
All right, man. Somebody last word so we can get out of here. One of y'all.
I wanted to say this too.
There we go.
Part of the culture is we hold it near and dear to our hearts. Since we embody it, we're part of it. So when we feel like somebody is not sincere about what they're doing, it rubs us the wrong way. And that's pretty much how people kind of gauge if this person is sincere, or are they doing it because they love it, or are they doing it just because. And I think that's a lot of the nuance thing and pushback that happens when it comes to white artists hopping into hip hop and then just being like, okay, I'm off of that right now, I'm on this.
Sure. NewOldHeads.com for all the education you need this year. If you see it, like it, subscribe, hit any bells that you see for notification, 5-star ratings, we need all that. Also, don't forget to check out our Patreon, where you get the full unedited exclusive episodes. That's where all the good stuff happens. We appreciate the support. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.